Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of Double K's Take as I continue my march through training camps of the West Coast football teams, and I make my stop with the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals finished 13-3 last season. They were first in the NFC West. They ended up losing to the Carolina Panthers in the conference championship game. Team that ended up losing in the Super Bowl. But in free agency, they managed to re-sign Chris Johnson. They also managed to re-sign Evan Mathis and Jermaine Gresham. They also re-signed throughout the offseason QB Carson Palmer to an extension. Wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald to an extension. And the Honey Badger safety Tyrann Mathieu to an extension. They have the 7th ranked schedule in the NFL. Last year they ranked 2nd in points per game offensively and 1st in overall yardage. On defense, they ranked top 10 and 7th in points per game and 5th overall. The Cardinals preseason will consist of them playing the Raiders, the Chargers, the Texans, and the Broncos. All teams that should show them exactly what their teams have in store for them as the season goes along. Now diving into their regular season schedule, their week 1 through 4 opponents are the Patriots, the Bucks, the Bills, and the Rams. Their key opponent for the first 4 games is week 1 against the Patriots. That should really show them where they stand as far as against the elite teams in the NFL this season. Week 5 through 8, they play at the 49ers, at home versus the Jets, at home versus Seattle, and then at Carolina. The key game of that stretch, of course, is the Week 8 matchup against the Carolina Panthers. A rematch of last year's NFC Championship game, which the Cardinals lost. So week 9 through 12, they have a bye week. Week 9, they play at They play at home versus San Francisco, at Minnesota, and then at Atlanta to close out that 4-week stretch. Their key game there is against the Vikings, mainly because it's at Minnesota, and Minnesota looks to be a pretty tough team going into this season. So week 11 at Minnesota is their special game there. And the last 5 games are at home versus Washington, at Miami, at home versus New Orleans, or the Saints, at Seattle, and at the LA Rams. Of course, the Week 16 matchup against the Seahawks is the most important matchup of that week because it will probably be deciding the division depending on what happens with them against everybody else. The Cardinals season overall looks to be a pretty tough one, but I think this is a pretty good team overall, and I predicted them to finish 12-4. Their team leaders from last year, QB Carson Palmer, running back Chris Johnson, wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, and linebacker David Buchanan. returning this season to try to continue their success from last year. So we'll see what happens. I predict 12-4. I definitely predict a playoff positioning for them, possibly top 2, where they get home field again and continue to play well. The Cardinals were a great team last year. They brought back most of their starters from last year, and I think that'll bid well for them this year. But for now, that's it. Tune in next week, as I'll probably be talking to Seattle Seahawks, I believe, right here on Double K's Tape. Peace.